Fred Pin Radio, this is Chiara Nicoletti from the 77th Cannes Film Festival. I'm with Halfdan Ullman Tøndel and Renate Reinsve, director and actress of Armand, screening here in the Assertar Regard section. Okay, here's something that hit me about the film, and I want to quote something that I heard, that I read, that you heard yourself. Playing doctor is something we leave in kindergarten.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, was the film a way for you to, as you wrote, explore boundaries?
Yes. It's the short answer. Yeah, but I think it was very interesting with the gray areas of boundaries and how we kind of deal with boundaries in the society today, and these gray areas where I feel that we walk on a very thin line where something either is that or that. So we have kind of missed out on all the nuances. And I think also with this situation it was interesting that either it's super serious and there's something serious happening at home with the kids, or it's a play, or it's a game, it's an innocent child play. And I think, that range between the super serious and the innocent, even though it's just about the semantics of what happened, I think that's very interesting. And that line specifically came from the research period where a principal told me kindergarten is something, playing doctor is something we leave behind in the kindergarten. And it's interesting if a child in May could do something playing doctor, but then in August when he starts at school cannot play a doctor, and then it's illegal. I think that's interesting.
Renate, what do you think about the film, the script? How did you perceive it, and this idea, of exploring boundaries?
Yeah, it's for me it goes so way back. I don't because we did a short movie together in Fora, and then you started writing the script because we understood we have to do a movie together, and. Yeah, when I read the first script, it was the best script I've ever read, and it was just Halfdan who wrote it. And every time you gave me a new draft to read, you warned me she was a little bit darker every time. I don't know how much I was. I don't know how much I was going into the themes that you were when you were writing. It's more this character. I think the boundaries there for me is more about her being an actress, and you have, for instance, this situation where you have something you love so much, and the work that you do, that means so much to you. You communicate it, you share it because you want people to see the movie and perceive it, or you want to share, but it's at a cost, because it's so valuable. And I feel, especially this one scene in the film where she is first everyone's so fascinated, and they almost start taking pieces off of her. It's of course something I can relate to, and it's this scene I feel is very rich because it's about her and her process and her being what she is in the society, in this group, but also the boundaries that Halfdan wants to explore and talk about. So it kind of binds it together. So we share this topic of boundaries, but I have a different perspective than you maybe from
And that's very important. I think I never talk about the theme of the movie with the actors. We just talk about the character and their psychological journey, and I try to listen what your perspective on the character is, and that's the most important thing for me, not talking about the theme.
I was thinking about your performance and that, and the fact that not only you but all the characters are the camera follows them very closely.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry. So I wanted to know more about the way you were directed in this sense, because there's also a very thin line between the different aspects of your characters. I mean, they shift let's say?
Yeah. I don't know. That's more like how close you are is more technical, and from you, and how close you want to be to her and her emotions or the situation. So that is maybe your choice. But I feel, I don't know, coming from the theater, you build a character in a different way. I think in film, it's often that you are cast as more typecast, or someone has seen you from before. But in acting in theater, you build a character more. You get a role, and then you build it to something from yourself, or outside yourself, from the body and the mind, and how they speak, and all of the details. And you have a lot of time to do this. And because here you go into quite theatrical scenes in a way. But for me, it's not really a difference in how I act them. For her, it's the exact same way of approaching as I do every scene. These scenes that are, but I'm kind of trained in filling physical things with the inner life in a way. But that's the only way. You can never tell me to do something on the outside, and then I get very confused and angry.
What does that mean? What does that even mean?
I can't even hear what you're saying right now.
How the audience should perceive this? I don't fucking care.
Here's something that, as I told you before starting the interview, I was reading some reviews. Sometimes I do that, and there's something that I didn't find that I wanted to ask you. That I think I felt that as a parent as well, that the film puts wonders also about how much influence parents have on their children. I mean, passive influence, not active, not the things they teach, but they think the things that they think they're not teaching, but still their children are imitating, because that's their only way to learn. So I wanted to know if that was something about that as well.
Yeah, I thought, especially in the beginning, about how this, how you have, especially in the first years of a child's life, there's this symbiotic relationship between, especially the mother and the child. And I think that was very interesting, because where does one stop, and where does one start, and where does one stop?
Yes.
The personalities. So that was, a big one part of it. But I also thought it was very interesting how we, on the outside, mirror children with their parents and parents with their children. So if the children does something that is not right, you kind of look to the parents. What have you taught this person, this child, to do something like this? And why have you influenced your child in this bad manner, And I think it's quite interesting how we kind of removes the autonomy from the children, and remove also responsibility from the children. So there was something interesting about that I wanted to explore.
Well, I think, what kind of experience was this film for the both of you, from your professional point of view and from your personal point of view?
For me, it was my first feature, so I was kind of in a manic state the whole time, and I didn't sleep the whole shoot, and I bled from the nose every morning, like a lot. I think I lost like 5 liters of blood throughout the shoot. It was crazy, but I have never felt so alive. At the same time, I've never felt so like powerful within myself. So it was like the best thing I ever experienced. But it was heavy. It was heavy for the mind and body, and it costed a lot for a lot of people, and that I need to figure out.
Yes, you do.
Yes, and you can gateway to you.
Yeah, it was absolutely the hardest thing I've ever done. And it took me so long to find peace after being in this character that was under so much pressure and in so much stress, and having these, you don't know if she's sincere and manipulative. It's a very, very and also like her being an actress and going into the prejudice you actually have against actresses to go, it's on so many levels. It was really hard, and then it's also like the greatest gift to have someone push you so far, and we had so much fun with all that pain too. And I felt when I saw it for the first time yesterday, you can kind of see the like electricity between, I have done something, you sit on the other side and you've been like, yes, and then told me something and I'm like, I'm in the pain, but you see I'm having so much fun. And also I really resonate with what he said, like I've known him for so long now, and seeing him grow into something so grounded. He was like a bigger version of himself, and you were just in the right, you just found your place on this set. It was, so moving to see. Fantastic.
And we've been talking to Halfdan Ullman Tøndel and Renate Reinsve, director and actress of Armand, screening in the Arceta section of the 77 Cannes Film Festival. And this is Chiara Nicoletti for Fred, the Festival Insider.